Okay, for this video we're going to talk about the difference between permutations and combinations. Remember that permutations, order matters, okay? So it's got some type of order, such as runners in a race finishing first, second, third, that type of thing. Combinations, there's no order. It doesn't matter how they are gathered. So for combinations, it's like members on a committee or items being taken out of a sack. The order does not matter on those. So for this problem, I'm going to have 5 objects, and I'm going to select 2 of them. And I'm going to do it with permutation and with combination and show you the difference in the calculation as well as using the calculator. So for a permutation, that is going to be n factorial, so 5 factorial over n minus r, so that's 5 minus 2 factorial. So that's going to give me 5 factorial over a 3 factorial. So factorial, remember, is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 all the way down to 1. Same thing with the 3, 3 times 2 times 1. So if I'm calculating this by hand, notice I can cross out 1 for 1 and everything on numerator and denominator, and I just end up with 5 times 4 for this particular problem, which gives me 20. Okay, so for combinations, the formula is n factorial over r factorial times an n minus r factorial. It's got an additional r factorial in the denominator. So this is going to be 5 factorial over 2 factorial times an let's see here, 5 minus 2 factorial. So that's going to be 5 factorial over 2 factorial, 3 factorial. And so what this means is it's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The 2 factorial is 2 times 1. The 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1. Notice again I can cancel the 3, 2, and 1, which gives me 5 times 4 divided by 2, so that's 20 divided by 2, which is going to give me a 10. Almost always you're going to come up with fewer combinations than permutations, because with permutations, of course, order matters, and so it matters if it is a 5 and a 3 or a 3 then a 5. Whereas combinations, it doesn't matter what order they are. 5, 3, 3, 5, it's the same thing. So in this particular case, I have twice as many wherever I have order than I do wherever I do not have order. Now I want to show you the little shortcut on the calculator. We can do permutation and we can do combination. We can also do factorials, such as 7 factorial. So if I come over to my calculator, you'll notice this PRB button. That means probability. And so it will have a permutation, combination, and factorial for us under this button. Whenever I'm doing permutations and combinations, I'm always going to enter the n portion of it first, so the 5. Then I'm going to come up to PRB, and notice it has NPR or NCR or a factorial. So for this first one, I'm going to choose the permutation. I'll make sure that it's underlined and then hit enter. Notice I have 5 NPR, and then I'm going to choose 2, and then I'll hit enter. That gives me 20, which is the exact same thing as what we calculated by hand here. Same thing with the combination. I'm going to put in however many total I have, PRB, underline the NCR for combination, hit enter, and then I'm going to enter the 2 for how many we're selecting and hit enter again. And I get 10, which is the same thing as what I calculated by hand. Now I'm going to look at the 7 factorial. That's the same thing as if I do 7 times 6 times 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So let's do 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And I get 5,040. Now in the calculator, I can do 7 and then the PRB button, and then scroll over to where it's underlining the factorial. Hit enter. So I now have 7 factorial on my screen. I'm going to hit enter again. 5,040. Same thing as what I got whenever I calculated it by hand. So any of the permutation, combinations, or factorials can be found under this PRB button. Okay? Just make sure whatever you want is the one that is underlined and then hit enter to select it. So try some more problems with combinations and permutations and let me know if you have any questions.